Kiera, you are the ambassador for 3GENERATE for the Darlington district. What is 3GENERATE?
Uh, 3GENERATE is many things, and the easiest way to describe it is just a huge event where we try and get as many young people as possible from the Methodist Church to attend. And we putting them in the NEC in Birmingham, and they can then go and attend all of the different activities that are available, and basically run around free because we have the whole thing. So it's also it's all a secure space that we can then send them off. They can make these new friends and just have a wild time. And a lot of the time, the leaders will not see their children until mealtime, which is then great because they come back full of energy of all of the different things they've been doing. So yeah, it's just this huge event for children to have as much fun and connect with God in as many ways as possible.
And who's 3GENERATE for?
So the age that 3GENERATE is for is 8 to 23-year-olds. And so there is an event on the Saturday for a specific amount of time for 4 to 7-year-olds. But the whole weekend is for 8 to 23-year-olds, which means that a lot of the 18 to 23-year-olds can then attend as a participant, but can also then get involved in volunteering and helping with the running of 3GENERATE. And so they can then join with other 18 to 23-year-olds to be able to go around this event with people who are their age and maybe escape younger siblings as well.
I'm here with Kiera, and she is the I think the ambassador for 3GENERATE in the Darlington district. Kiera, what does that mean?
So it means I liaise with the 3GENERATE team. So we look at the sort of activities that we're going to have, and I can then feedback information about what our groups share with us and any ideas that they have. And it then means I can also then tell groups about any of the updates that we've got happening and how they can find out information about 3GENERATE, about booking and about what's going on and all of that thing.
It's May 2023. I think 3GENERATE is towards the beginning of autumn. Where are you at right now? What do you want people to do?
So booking has recently opened, and so people are able to be booking their groups on, and I believe they don't have to pay yet. It's just booking so that we've got numbers and we can then get everybody registered. Because we need all of the young people registered as well as all of the adults who will be attending to make sure everything is all okay. And then 3GENERATE itself is taking place in the 6th to the 8th of October in Birmingham at the NEC, which is where we've had it in previous years. So we know what the venue's like, and they know what we're expecting and how we can get the best of what's there.
Excellent. Do you have any sneak peeks for anyone watching this about the theme of this year or anything kind of happening this year that's been the planning stage? Anything at all? No. Well, that's our exclusive from Kiera, the Darlington District Ambassador for 3GENERATE. No exclusive sneak peeks whatsoever. To book, where do people go?
There is, on the Methodist website, there's a 3GENERATE section, and that has all the information about like travel, how to book, how you register for groups and adults, and any then like information you might need or any contact information about the 3GENERATE team. That is also available. If people contact me, I can then send them the links that have all the booking information on, so that they're able to get that sorted.
So if people are interested to contact you, is that what you're saying?
If they're able to, then go to the 3GENERATE page, because that's where I'll send them. But if you can't find it, then I can just send you the link. That's fine.
And if people book, was it good that they let you know as well?
They can do. I find out from our the planning teams. We find out how many groups we've got booked, so that way we can then make sure we can arrange everything in the district if people need assistance with things.
Okay. And what kind of things might people need assistance with?
The big one for us, obviously, we're a little bit further away than some districts, and so a lot of the time transport can be a bit tricky. So we do have that in previous years, the district has paid for the cost of the transport to enable groups to attend 3GENERATE, removing that barrier, but also then linking up with other groups so that they can share transport. And we've shared in previous years transport with Newcastle because they were going past where we had a group going from. So it made sense. And it was then a nice way for the young people and the leaders to get to know other people outside of their group before they got to 3GENERATE.
So basically, if people book, the best thing them do is also to send you a quick email to say that they've booked, how many people they're thinking of taking, and so that any like shared resources like funding and travel can then be organised as soon as possible.
Yeah, so we can then provide that support, and then if they've got any additional questions or things that they think they might need put in place to enable them to go, we can then look at that. So one of the big things we're looking at this year is to try and get, if we have leaders or parents who are wanting to help volunteer with groups, to get them to go, because that can be a bit of a, we need so many adults for the amount of children that are going, and with it being the full weekend that far away, it can be difficult to get people to sign up who are willing to do that. So we're hoping to try and, even if people don't have a group they're attached to, they can then register their interest and sign up as a volunteer, so that we can then assign them with a different group, so that it enables a different group to go, because that has stopped some groups in the past where they've had a volunteer who's like fallen ill and they've not had anyone to cover it. So it's then a shame that a group gets to miss out just because of that.
So if somebody was interested in volunteering who didn't have a group of young people, or they maybe could put themselves down as kind of a relief emergency volunteer, by the sounds of it, that would probably work as well. What's the best thing they could do?
If they contact me, and that way I can figure out what it is they're willing to provide, because some people might not want to go for the full weekend, which is fine. We have had groups previously just go for the day, but it gives us options of what level of assistance they're willing to do within the district. But also, if they then wanted, 3GENERATE do have their own volunteer system for people just generally about the venue. So they wouldn't be assigned to a specific group, they would then be helping at 3GENERATE. So there's different options depending on what people are wanting to do. So contacting me, we can then talk that through and figure out what we think is best.
Are there any particular skills in the volunteers that you'd be looking for?
I think the main thing is just the enthusiasm, because it takes a lot of enthusiasm to deal with children in any stage of life, and this is it's a big age range, and they're very excited to be there. There's a lot of energy, and so you need to be able to feed that back to them, but then also make sure they know what they're doing. They often get distracted. They're meant to be at a prayer meeting, but they've gotten distracted doing something else, and you need to be able to enthusiastically direct them in the right way. So I'd say that was probably one of the biggest things when it comes to this sort of event.
Did you take the feedback from the previous 3GENERATE into consideration for planning the next one, Kiera? Do you know of?
Yeah, so when we do the district ambassador meetings, we try and feed back any information that we've had from groups that have been previously on what it was that their children really liked when they were there, what it was that they didn't like, or if they wanted there to be more or less of something or anything like that is really, really helpful, because we want to make it something that the young people are willing to attend. But also any people who haven't been before, if they've got ideas or things that they know that young people have enjoyed at other events, or just, you know, particular topics that they want, that's really helpful for us, because there's no point doing an event that we think is amazing, but that the children and young people think is the most boring thing on the planet. So we really want that information to come across. And a lot of the time, if one group's saying we didn't like this event, another group saying that as well, so we can then take that feedback, and then the next year they'll be like, yeah, that was really good, actually, they really enjoyed that, you know, this they got more of, or they were able to do this instead. And so that's really, really important on how we can build the event. And each year it seems to be getting that more groups are willing to do that, and it gives us a much better idea when we plan these sorts of things, what it is the children and young people are actually wanting to do.
And so if people book now, does it still give them the opportunity to give you some of that kind of feedback from last year? Would you want to hear that now?
Yeah, it's helpful. I mean, it's helpful at any time, because we have regular meetings with the different districts. And so it means that we can then feed those back and make sure that the planning is going in the right direction. Because sometimes we do change things quite close to an event, because we've realized that people just aren't going to engage with it, or we'd rather use the volunteers for an event that we know people have really enjoyed, and we want to be able to offer that across more of the weekend. So it really does help to have that information, and we can then collaborate to create an event that is the best it can be.
And what about children and young people that might have like accessibility needs, learning needs? How does that kind of come into the kind of planning and feedback?
Yeah, so we're very aware of that, and there is at 3GENERATE we do have a kind of quiet area that has a place that people can go if they're feeling overwhelmed, they just want to take a break for something, they're just not in getting on with it. And there's then loads of different, you know, like stim toys, they've got all the different packs of like ear defenders and things like that, so we can try and create a space that is somewhere they can go just to have that break from it. But when it comes to planning as well, we try and make sure that all of these things are thought of beforehand, so that we can put things in place to make sure they're accessible to as many people as possible. And if we know that one of the things, you know, people are wanting to attend, but as it stands at the minute can't, we'll do our absolute best to alter it in a way that means that they can, because that's, you know, what it's about, is making sure that they can go and have a good time. And so I've had meetings before with team leaders to get what it is that their children need in terms of access, so that we can make sure that they can attend as many of the things as possible. So having that information in advance is really good. And we do have an access team who help with making sure those things are put in place beforehand, so that when leaders and young people arrive, they know where they need to go, they know who they need to speak to, and we can assign people to, you know, meet immediately, so that they know who it is that has that information for them on the day as well.
I noticed that the youth president recently put a video out about ADHD. Just in terms of, we've just been talking, Kiera, about access and learning for 3GENERATE. How in terms of can people who've got neurodiverse issues, and I don't like using the word issue, but you know, aware of their own neurodiversity, play a part in the planning and structure of 3GENERATE?
So I mean, quite a few of the planning teams it's a diverse group of people, and we do have people who are neurodiverse, which then means that the different kind of sides are thought about in advance. But we do then have a lot of those teams are really well trained when it comes to neurodiverse conditions, and various access things. So it means that we really do try and look at what events are going to work for as many people as possible. And that's why we have like the quiet spaces, and the volunteers are all trained in terms of like what to look for if we think someone's getting overwhelmed, how we can direct them to these safe spaces and what we can offer them. And we really try and put things in place so that the children don't have to worry about if they do begin to feel overwhelmed or something isn't quite right, because they know who they need to speak to, or we've got volunteers that will pick them up and be able to direct them to a place that is safe. So that's all in place. But then all of the events that are planned, we then try and make so that they are as easy to understand as possible. And again, the volunteers there know about what is going on with their own event and what it is that the children need to know from an information perspective, so they can then explain that in a way that's helpful to that child or young person. So we really aim to try and include everybody. And so if anyone has any specific feedback in regards to what it is their young people would like to see, that's always really helpful, as we can then tailor these events to what it is the children need.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to say about 3GENERATE to people watching this who might be parents, leaders of groups around the Northeast? What would you say to them?
These sorts of events are amazingly valuable in many different ways when it comes to children and young people. I know from my experience of going to different events, the friendships that you make, just the adventure itself, the types of activities and events you get up to while you're there are so helpful in your development and in becoming a person, because it's something completely different, and it gives you these opportunities to meet people from all across the country, to try different things that you've never tried before, but then also to make meaningful connection when it comes to God and spirituality, that is something that you're more likely to engage with, that is just really valuable for the young people who can attend these events. And I do know from the recurring groups that attend that their children are always really excited and trying to get them on the it's a long journey to try and keep everybody calm, because they're really excited about what it is they're going to be able to get up to. But once they're there, they can then run free and have as much fun as humanly possible, that they're then quite tired on the journey back. So yeah, there's definitely so many things that are available there that these children and young people will be able to just have the best time.
Fabulous.
I don't know if that answered the question.
And so just to sum up, booking's available now. If you want people to book?
Yes, booking is available.
If people are going from the Northeast, to contact their ambassador, which is yourself in Darlington, or David Brown in Newcastle.
Yes, and David and I then can link up about any groups that we might have, and things like transport and volunteers.
And do give Kiera any feedback from your group from previous years, so that we can inform, or they can inform the activities or the space for 3GENERATE in October. And if you're interested in volunteering, contact Kiera as well. So that's really important. Have I missed anything?
Well, I'll say something about you might not want to add it into one of the previous questions.
Yep.
So when it comes to volunteers, it can also be really helpful, because we have sometimes like lone young people who are not assigned to a youth group. They don't have a youth leader in their church, but they would then not be able to go because they don't have anyone to go with. So we can then attach them to existing groups and volunteers that are available. That means that we can then make sure these events are available to all of the young people in the district and not just the pre-existing youth groups, because a lot of the small local churches do have, you know, like 1 or 2 random young people, which is great, but that can be quite isolating because these opportunities are a bit limited for them. So if we can try and get it that there is people who are available to take them, we can then link them up with, you know, those people and make sure that it's open to as many of the young people in our district as possible.
So if you're in a church with 1 or 2 young people and they want to go to 3GENERATE, book as normal, but let Kiera know, and we can pair them up with others who are going who aren't too far away. We could arrange Zoom calls with people, or we can arrange for meetups beforehand to make sure that they don't feel like they're going on their own. But to say also, well done to them for wanting to go, even if they might think they're going on their own. But it'd be good to pair them up first, and to have volunteers who can support them, which would be great. Anything else from you, Kiera?
Just that I hope as many people as possible are able to go, and yeah, to the leaders and, you know, youth workers who are willing to take these young people, just thank you. Like, it's a really good thing to do, but I know it's a lot of work for you. You know, the children just sign up and expect to be taken there, but you're the ones that are doing all of the hard work and making sure that you've got all of the information on, you know, like allergies and any access needs, and making sure that everyone gets on the right bus. So thank you for all of the hard work that you do, and you continue to do, because these young people would not be able to have this amazing experience without your help.
Excellent. Thank you, Kiera. Thank you for your time. And we hope many enjoy the 3GENERATE experience, and also the planning and excitement leading up to it in October.